Gravity Falls is a cartoon show that takes place in the summertime, which makes it very difficult to write special holiday episodes about non-summer holidays. Now, the writers of Gravity Falls found a clever workaround that one time with Summerween, in which the residents of Gravity Falls like Halloween so much they celebrate it twice a year, using watermelons for jack-o'-lanterns instead of pumpkins. However, unlike Phineas and Ferb's Christmas Vacation, For Your Eyes Only, Happy New Year, etc., Gravity Falls never went out of its way to write a Christmas special episode taking place in the winter vacation, and then continuing by starting a whole new summer anew. Because Kristen Schaal plays the main character's voice in Gravity Falls and Bob's Burgers, Mabel Pines and Louise Belcher, I'm sure she knows better than anyone that the first Bob's Burgers Christmas episode, God Rest Ye Merry Gentle-Mannequins, is also the closest episode we have to a Gravity Falls Christmas episode. It is sort of like the Gravity Falls episode of Headhunters, but with the reverse setup of that. Headhunters was about wax figures who come to life. Every night there's a waxing gibbous moon, and their hatred and petty revenge for Great Uncle Stan brought them to life. They came to life because they wanted to rid Uncle Stan out of revenge for locking them away when his Mystery Shack tourists and customers lost interest in looking at the wax figure people, looking at his displays of wax people. The opposite thing happens in God Rest Ye Merry Gentle-Mannequins, because in God Rest Ye Merry Gentle-Mannequins, Chet is a mannequin who came to life out of his love for Nadine. Like the wax figures, like people made out of wax in the Gravity Falls episode Headhunters, Chet is also in dismay about his job as a model to stand and be looked at being put out of business. Bob's maternal uncle had a clothing store that got put out of business by the mall, and before that happened, Chet fell in love with another mannequin named Nadine, and he lost Nadine in Bob's uncle's clothing store's going out of business sale. Anything that Bob's uncle didn't sell or give away, whatever was left of his bankrupt clothing store, he kept in a storage locker and left it to Bob in his will. And they take Chet and his boxes of other clothes and leftover mannequins into the basement so that they don't have to continue paying for the lease on the storage locker. And yeah, Chet turned into a human because his feelings because he felt real human emotions with the pain over missing Nadine, and he alleges that is what turned him from a mannequin into a human. Tina Belcher said, "This is the greatest love story ever told." While Bob Belcher is very skeptical, he doesn't really believe that Chet used to be a mannequin. and which makes him so angry that he stops doing Christmas displays with them, which as a former mannequin, he's pretty good at knowing how to set them up. Yeah, I just think God Rest Ye Merry Gentle-Mannequins is kind of a hilarious Bob's Burgers episode, especially if you are Kristen Schaal or even if you know Kristen Schaal personally. Because as far as I know, it's the closest that Bob's Burgers has ever gotten to having the mysterious weirdness of Gravity Falls. To having mysterious weirdness like what you'd expect from Gravity Falls be the big focus of the plot. Yeah, Chet's very insulted when Bob doesn't believe that he used to be a mannequin, and he also doesn't think his one mannequin lover, Nadine, was really there. But since Bob and the rest of his Belcher family do not want Chet to continue to be heartbroken over the December holidays, they do what they can to they do what they can to find where Nadine had been lost. They stole Nadine from. They stole Nadine from an adult film store that sells pornographic videos. And when the owner of that sex shop comes to demand Nadine back, the Belcher kids decide to sacrifice the money that their parents could have used to buy them gifts to pay off the sex shop owner to let Chet have Nadine back. And that's how you make a Gravity Falls type Christmas special episode, but with an edgy adult twist, because again, it's not a Gravity Falls Christmas episode. It's a Bob's Burgers Christmas episode made in the style of Gravity Falls, but also with the sort of that edgy adult comedy and mature humor that you would expect to see from Bob's Burgers, which is likely also to be a thing in Alex Hirsch's Gravity Falls book for adults about Bill Cipher, which comes out July 23, 2024. I wasn't paid to sponsor it. I just wanted to give you a heads up about that book that's coming out soon. Sorry, I was expecting someone. I thought my mom would be. I recorded this in the morning. I really thought mom would be driving home by now because it would be fun to have her in the video. Anyways, that's my story and review of the Bob's Burgers episode, God Rest Ye Merry Gentle-Mannequins. It was a surprisingly sweet and poignant episode about a third man who thinks he used to be a mannequin, which, I mean, well, most of his story checks out. That was a pretty funny to think about. They also leave open the possibility that maybe they also leave open the alternate interpretation that maybe Chet didn't actually used to be a mannequin. I mean, it's also just as likely that he used to be an employee at the clothing shop of Bob Belcher's uncle, who fell in love with that one mannequin he named Nadine because she was the only company he had there. And the reason why he spent the rest of his days in the storage locker of reason why Chet spent the rest of his days homeless in the storage locker of Bob's uncle was because even though he already had another home, like in Lofton, New York, he stayed in the storage locker of Bob's uncle until the rest of Bob Belcher's family found him, because his loft in New York was being renovated, and Bob let out a big what when he learned that Chet already had another home when Chet already had a loft in New York where he used to live before the storage locker. So that's my take on God Rest Ye Merry Gentle-Mannequins. Both possibilities of Chet's backstory are equally valid. Either Chet really did used to be a mannequin who is a good guy and not evil like the wax figures from the Gravity Falls episode Headhunters, and he had real feelings for Nadine that turned him from a mannequin into a human being after, because of how lonely he felt over Nadine being separated from him. Or he was just a silly, strange human who used to work at the clothing store of Bob's uncle, and he used to have a home where, in Lofton, New York, but he couldn't live there but he had to live in the storage locker of Bob's uncle instead of the loft, because it was still being renovated at the time when Bob's uncle moved his stuff into that storage locker. This review of the Bob's Burgers episode, God Rest Ye Merry Gentle-Mannequins, is dedicated to the loving memory of Larry King and Coolio, because I thought it was really cool and very awesome that Gravity Falls got to cast the real Larry King and Coolio back in 2011 to voice their wax figure selves in Headhunters. I almost couldn't believe I didn't believe they got them at the time when I watched Headhunters, so it was very cool to learn that they actually got to voice their wax selves in that episode a few months later when I rewatched it. So what do you think of the Bob's Burgers episode, God Rest Ye Merry Gentle-Mannequins? Do you think this Bob's Burgers Christmas episode is also the only Gravity Falls Christmas episode we ever had? Or do you think that Chet made up all that stuff about being a mannequin and had to live in the storage locker of Bob's uncle while his loft in New York was being renovated and restructured? You're welcome to tell me your thoughts in the comments below, but the reason why I began this video with that comparison to Gravity Falls is because Kristen Schaal, being a common primary cast member of both of those four-fingered animated shows, really makes you wonder how voice actors playing main characters, how a voice actor playing a main character in two simultaneous animated series could cause one to influence the other. Thank you for watching my video about Bob's Burgers, giving us the best Gravity Falls Christmas special episode that was never made in the form of a Gravity Falls episode. And like and subscribe if you want to see more interesting, informative, and insightful videos by Adam Phibia Calboonshoy. Adam Cal for short.